I was so wrong. Like, I was so very wrong about Yoshi and the Mysterious Book. It's funny, we're talking about a game with a book, and I definitely judged this book by its cover. Okay, I'm done. That was corny. So I've spent like the last 24 hours playing the heck out of Yoshi and the Mysterious Book, and going into this game, I didn't feel much. In fact, I wasn't even entirely sure if I wanted to play this game. Nothing from the trailers, from even the reviews, the directs, anything. I said directs, we haven't had a direct. But everything I would see about this game, every trailer Nintendo dropped, it was just so boring. It looked like the babyish of all babyish games. But late last night, I decided to dive in for the first time, and I beat the game as of this morning. I played all night. I'm not joking. Yoshi and the Mysterious Book is brilliant. Like, really good. It's so weird saying that, because on one hand, you look at this game, and it looks like it's made for literally baby's first video game. And I'll be honest with you, it's extremely easy. There's not a whole lot of challenge to the game, but there's definitely some, especially when it comes to its collectibles. But goodness gracious, sometimes you just need a game to just mess around with and have fun. And I forgot that along the way. I've tried to remind myself that there are games out there that are super easy, but that were a lot of fun. Like Yoshi's Woolly World's one of my favorite Yoshi games, still probably my favorite. And even Kirby's Epic Yarn was a really good title where you couldn't die. But the collectible aspect, the worlds, the music, it was still so much fun. I didn't care. And I forgot that along the years. And jumping back into something like Yoshi and the Mysterious Book reminded me of what video games are supposed to be. Fun. And that's exactly what this game is. It's mindless fun. And when I say mindless, I don't mean that in a bad way. And I'll tell you why I think this game attaches to me so much. So one thing I do on the channel every time there's a really big new game that comes out, one of the series that I've been doing since like 2018 is details that you missed. Cool details and secrets that you can find in the game where you can see, oh, I didn't know you could do that. And one example of this would probably be Kirby in the Forgotten Land. It's full of those like little HAL Lab secrets, little secret Easter eggs here and there, and just cool things in each level that are not intended to be found. It's just kind of like, if you find it, good job. But this game takes that idea of hidden secrets and Easter eggs and ingrains them into the gameplay to where everything you do is counted as a mission. Everything you do is an achievement. It's a reward. It's an unlockable. So that way it encourages you to just mess around and do whatever and anything that you can do in every single stage. And there's something about it that's just like serotonin, man. But not for a second have I found myself getting bored. And in fact, every time I'm done playing, I want to jump back in and play some more. And I've not really felt that way with anything since probably Donkey Kong Bonanza in last July. I know that probably sounds crazy, and you're probably like, this game of all games is like, what, your third favorite? Technically, it's probably my second favorite Switch 2 game so far, and I just completed the main game. I don't know how, this is strange. I don't know what else to say. I'm gonna give some certain examples with specific gameplay clips to it, try to explain why I think this game is so good and so rewarding and just fun feeling. But for now, I'm just gonna kind of talk about a couple of other things. So first off, the game actually has a lot of content in it. I've played for well over 8 hours, and I just finished the first 6 worlds, which might sound like, oh, so you're done. No, that was just kind of like the main story, but you can continue going. They give you like post-game worlds. They unlocked like 4 more worlds for me, and it looks like there's even more room on the page for more worlds. And every like 2 worlds was like 2.5 hours of gameplay that I would play at a time, which is a lot of gameplay. Like, that's a lot of time. And that's if you're really just going through each stage, taking your time, experimenting, finding everything that you possibly can. And what's so funny about this is even after completely doing everything I feel like you could possibly do in a stage, they say, nope, you forgot to do one thing, or you forgot to do this, you forgot a smiley flower somewhere. And there's a lot of times where I just completely missed flowers that I felt like I completely devoured the stage and seen everything that I possibly could. So it actually intrigues me to go back and see what I missed. Now, I am a little worried. I haven't really gone back to past stages yet to try to find things I was missing. But I am worried how they're going to handle the missing missions, because they only give you a hint for one missing mission every time you exit a stage. So am I going to have to go in, get the mission, go back out? Or can I do it while I'm in the stage? Can I pay for more mission hints or something while I'm in the stage? Maybe you guys can confirm that are further along. But like, yeah, that would suck if I had to go into a stage, do that mission I'm missing, go back out to see what I'm missing again. Because odds are in each level, I'm probably missing well over 5 different missions that I've just never tried yet. But each stage has so many hidden little details and some incredibly difficult things to find. Like, I spent almost 30 minutes in this hula hoop stage. So I'll just start talking about some of my favorite gameplay moments so far. But yeah, I'll try not to spoil anything too crazy or anything like that. I mean, this game doesn't really have much to spoil, just some stages I can show you guys. But there's a stage with these hula hooping birds, and there's a bunch of grass, some hard blocks and bricks, but I can't find any way to crush them until eventually I did some platforming and some like cheesing of the stage and popped up on top of this hut that I didn't even think you could get on top of to find a spiked hula hoop, which then allows you to attach to one of the birds and break everything apart. Or you'll see this flower in the corner of the room that you need to get water on until you realize you need to take the hula hooping bird in order to fling the water up to him, which is such a cool idea. In this stage, there's this little underground hole that I can't enter, and none of the explosive chestnuts would fit in the hole either, and for a while I couldn't figure out what they wanted me to do, until I found a secret hole in one of the trees further in the stage that had many explosive chestnuts. So I grabbed one, brought it back, and it rolled down the hole in order to blow up one of the little mice, which is so crazy. This area stumped me for so long. Somehow I'm supposed to get underneath the water to grab the flower. You can't swim underwater in this game, so I tried everything and nothing would work until I realized I could grab one of these snails at the very beginning of the stage, line them up just right, and fling myself across the whole bottom of the area and barely make it into the water to swim underneath. It's such a good idea. There's a stage where there's a giant clam underneath the water, and the only way to grab it is to ground pound a goonie in order for him to fall down in the water and pick it up. But I didn't know what the heck I'm supposed to do with it. Well, you're supposed to have them carry it all the way over to the campfire so it can toast it up so it can crack it open. Like, come on. Now rest assured, if you're worried that I'm like spoiling something for you, this is one smiley flower in each of these stages that I'm talking about. This is like the tip of the tip of the tip of the iceberg as to some of these puzzles and what they offer. Like, it's actually insane. And some of these gameplay mechanics with these enemies are so well thought up. Just having a spider that can stick to walls and you can swing around like Spider-Man. Or using a creature that's shaped like a butterfly net so you can go around and just catch other creatures with them. Or maybe some slower paced stages where you have to take your time and calculate how you defeat enemies and which ones you defeat, or it might mess up the main objective of that mission. This game has so many collectibles, wacky combinations, and things that you can test out and experiment with in every single stage. And if I'm not mistaken, you can actually return to some stages that actually introduce newer characters in those stages when you revisit them in order to get things that you maybe missed the first time. There's so much reason to go back and revisit stages and stuff, but I will say the thing that worries me is something that IGN actually mentioned on their review, is this game is like bubble wrap. Once you pop those bubbles for good, it's pretty much over and the value kind of wears off. I really hope that's not the case, but I can definitely see that being the case, considering the fact that once you figure out what an enemy does and what a stage has to offer, if you ever go back and replay the stage, you pretty much done everything, especially if you've done the missions, and if you go to replay the whole game all over again, you're gonna know exactly what you need to do, exactly where those cool hidden secrets that you found the first time are. So I feel like the best way to replay this game is probably to wait for a very long time until your memory kind of grows dull of the experience, so that way you can go in experiencing things kind of fresh again. But I'm not too worried about that right now. As I'm still playing through the game, I'm just having a blast, man. This game is really a blast, and I honestly don't really agree with the reviews. A lot of people get mad at reviewers for saying a game is bad or something, and a lot of the times I don't understand that, because I'm like, look, if someone thinks a game is bad, they think a game is bad. It's people's opinions. You're allowed to have an opinion. But after listening to a lot of people not really like this game, get bored with the game around World 3, or just feel like it was a dull experience all the way around, I'm genuinely curious as to why they say that. And I wonder if a lot of the reason is because I'm not saying this in a mean way, but maybe not smart enough to understand how some of the puzzles work. Or maybe they're not exploring the stage to their full capacity. That could also be an issue, because I feel like if you're actually actively exploring every single stage all the way through, it's impossible to be bored. But with all things said, I'm not gonna lie to you. I picked up this game from the store and I essentially just said to myself, It's another Nintendo release. I guess I'll make some videos about it at the very least, and didn't really expect much from this. But man, literally just a day later, I'm coming from this genuinely looking forward to and excited to keep playing this game. This game is super addictive, and a game that I didn't even think was going to be on my radar this year for one of my favorite games this year. And it definitely is. Yoshi and the Mysterious Book deserves a try. If you're on the fence and maybe sketched out about this a little bit, maybe the reviews didn't help sell it for you, the trailers didn't help sell it for you because all they do is talk like a baby about the game, no, I don't think you need to be a child to enjoy this game whatsoever. I am 28 years old, and maybe I act like a child a lot and I act goofy and stuff, but I'm telling you right now, this is a game that I can definitely see adults having fun with. There's a lot of good stuff here. It's not perfect, and I have some slight complaints so far, but overall, dude, oh my gosh, okay, it's enough talking. I gotta get back and play more of this game because it's so much fun. But yeah, like I said, the main story is gonna take you around 8 hours to see the first 6 worlds through, but for some reason, it doesn't even feel like that's the end. They just say, you know what, there's 4 more worlds, and like I said, it looks like there might even be more, so whew, I can't wait to dive back in. And also, there's some crazy lore that they throw in at the very end, which is kind of insane. But thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you guys leave a like and subscribe to stay up to date on all things Yoshi and Nintendo in general. And go give Yoshi and the Mysterious Book a try. You truly never know. It could end up becoming one of your favorite games. See ya, guys.